Today's topic is Satan the father of Cain in the Bible, or anyone for that matter? The answer is no, he is not. And I'm going to debunk the argument very quickly and easily. The whole reason they get all this is because they assume that when God says to Eve and Adam, you can eat of any of the fruits that are in the Garden of Eden except for this one tree. You can't eat the fruit from that tree. And Satan comes down in the form of a serpent and tempts her and tells her she's going to gain knowledge and all that. And she eats that fruit. There's people that say that symbolizes her eating the fruit is actually her having sex with Satan and becoming pregnant. Really? Well, let's read what it says. It says in verse 6, when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, right, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate also. Okay, so hold on a second. Eating that forbidden fruit meant that Eve had sex with Satan. Oh, really? So I guess Adam had sex with Satan too then, because he ate of the fruit also, and he was with her. So he was with her the whole time that she did it. And let's go back. If God said you can eat from any tree in the garden except this one, does that mean she could have sex with any of the other trees, right? I guess they were people or men. But just don't have sex with this tree, Satan. Okay, so right there, that's ridiculous. Then here's the second rule, or second thing that they think. It's in chapter 3, Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. And this is God talking. And he says, I will put enmity between you and the woman, meaning Satan and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head and you will strike his heel. They're like, well, what does that mean if they're going to put enmity between Satan and Eve's offspring? How can that be? How can he have offspring? And God wouldn't combine a literal statement with a figurative statement. Sure he would. He does it all throughout the Bible. God uses a lot of figurative statements and combines them with literal statements in the same sentence. Satan's offspring are people who follow and live their lives the way of Satan. They're liars, they're cheaters, they're scammers, they're deceitful. Eve's offspring are not only physical people, but they are also people that live a righteous life. So there it is. It's there's the sons of Satan. I mean, Jesus refers to the Pharisees a bunch of times as the sons of Satan. And not because of any kind of a birth right, but because of the way they're acting. They're deceitful, they're unrighteous. I mean, it's that simple. It's crazy. I mean, we're called the sons of God sometimes. That doesn't mean he birthed us. And we call God our Father, right? God the Father our Father. That doesn't mean he's our physical father. I mean, in a way he is, but he's not our birth father. And then also in Matthew, Jesus calls the Pharisees the sons of hell. Well, how can they be a son of hell? That's what he's calling them, right? Well, it's figurative. Once again, he's lecturing them. He's telling them how deceitful they are. He says when you go to win a convert over, you travel over land and sea, and then when he becomes a convert, you make him twice as much a son of hell as you are. This is Matthew 23:15, where Jesus says this. So he calls them sons of hell. So once again, it's figurative. I mean, what's crazy is they think Satan is the father of Cain, right? Because in Genesis, it uses the term Adam lay with his wife, or knew his wife, K-N-E-W, which means he knew her intimately, having sexual relations. And in other times, it doesn't use that terminology. It'll say, Adam lay with his wife. Actually, it says he lay with his wife and had Cain, which means Cain would be his. And then it says, and later on he had Abel. She had Abel. Well, they're not twins. They think they're twins. which, you know, Satan and Adam had sex with Eve at the same time, or within the same time period, and one was from Satan and one was from Adam, which again, I already proved it to be ridiculous. It's physically possible. I think there's only a few cases in the whole world where two men, you know, a woman has twins and two men were actually the fathers, different fathers of those two, you know, those two twins. But that's beside the point. It's just ridiculous. Satan is a spirit being, just like, well, he's an angel, just like angels. Just like they say that the fallen angels are the fathers of the Nephilim. You know, I made a whole video about that too. Spirit being angels do not have sex with human women. They just don't. They're incapable of it. But the logic behind this is crazy. I mean, to say fruit symbolizes sex and all, you can debunk it just by reading the rest of the sentence, for gosh sakes. It says she ate it and gave some to her husband. So here's what we know. She ate fruit. Satan tempted her, or she tempted her first, and she ate the fruit. God put enmity between those two beings, meaning they're always going to be at odds with each other, which is true to this day. You have righteous people, you have unrighteous people, you have liars and cheaters and sinners and all kinds of stuff going on, deceivers versus people who are more righteous and not deceitful and all that. That's the enmity. That's it. There's no hybrids out there. There's no Satan's lineage. It's just it's a metaphor when God says you are the son of Satan. You know, I mean, it's super easy to figure out what he's talking about. You're following in his ways. Just like when you are a son of God or a son of Christ or a saint, you are following in the ways of Christ or the way of God. So don't believe this nonsense that these pastors are teaching, and it's all fantasy, and it sounds all sexy, and oh my gosh, it's so mind-blowing. It's ridiculous. Look it up for yourself. Read those passages, and you know, judge for yourself. Because let me tell you what, the rest of the Bible, right after those passages in Genesis, it talks about other people's lineage. And it never uses the word lay or knew. It just says, Abraham had this kid. So-and-so had this son or daughter. It even says later on that Adam had a son in his own likeness, Seth. It says had a son. It didn't say lay with his wife or knew his wife. You just have to assume that's what he did. I mean, and again, the rest of the Bible, it talks about sons and daughters constantly and does not use that term that they're harping on. So their arguments disproven like that. It's that easy. So anyway, look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. You know, it's my opinion, but I think it's right. And see what you think when you look it up and you read those things in context, which most people do. These online pastors, I'm not going to name names, but they preach this stuff like it's concrete and true. And it's not. It's not. It's so simple to figure out. It's ridiculous. So anyway, good luck. And, you know, learn how to think for yourself. It's not that hard. Take care.